she had told me to say she doesn't want me communicating with the wardrobe people because they were females.
Okay. She didn't want you to communicate with the wardrobe from production.
Yes.
Because they are females.
Yes.
You apparently told the gent that she's ugly when she's waking up.
And I'm still waiting for that, for any one of the gents to say when and where. I keep asking where. Where?
Maybe you said it while you were angry, Tshepo.
When?
In an argument, because you guys had a few of them.
With who?
With her.
No.
Is there hope for reconciliation?
No. This is why your father called you ugly when you were a child.
This is what?
This is why.
This is what?
There's
Now
no
I
need.
understand why.
Balisa,
Now I
This is
understand
what?
why.
Balisa.
The show is Engineer Your Life and I'm Lungelo. Okay, I'm sure you don't want to see my face because you clicked on this because it's Ndaba. I'm sitting with an amazing gentleman who you know from a show that you love, that you've been watching and following and judging on social media. But on this particular platform, we make sure that we understand a person's side of the story because sometimes things are portrayed in a light that doesn't necessarily reflect the truth. And on this platform, uninterrupted, they get to speak their truth fully, explaining everything, elaborating on everything. And then it's up to you if you still want to be judgmental. Ndalo Miya, that's what they call you online. I don't know if that's the affectionate name. You will explain it to me as we go along.
Yeah.
But Mr. Tshepo, bro, how's your heart today more than anything?
I think I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay.
Yeah.
It's been a trip and a half.
And a half, not just a trip.
Yeah, it's been a trip and a half.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling much better now.
Yeah.
I think I'm at ease.
Yeah. Going into the journey, did you anticipate it to be a trip and a half?
I didn't, to be quite frank.
Sure.
I think the concept was about love. The concept was about finding somebody that you're going to spend, hopefully spend the rest of your life with. And somehow I just ended up on Elm Street, and it just never stopped. It just kept going on and on and on and on. So it kind of feels good to be out of that space.
Sure.
It kind of feels good to be done now.
Freeing. It's freeing.
Yeah, it is quite freeing.
Yeah.
Because, for quite a long time you were very restricted to what the show was about, what you were doing. So now it's a little bit of freedom. I can now, just walk around and just be okay.
Yeah. We'll get there. What is it about your love life that made you say this is the right avenue? Because I'm sure you had tried relationships before. I'm sure you had tried love before. I'm sure you'd fallen in love in a healthy manner before. And because life happens, those relationships broke up. But why this particular avenue? Would you say the breakups that you've been in were like, I'm giving up? Or no, it's just a different way of finding love?
I think for me, the ultimate goal was always to get married.
Okay.
And that is something that I think if you speak to a lot of my exes, they'll tell you that Tshepo has wanted to get married for quite some time. I think this avenue was me basically giving up my control to say, let me try something different.
Okay.
Let me see how it goes. Let me see if maybe I cast my net a little bit wider.
Yeah.
And allow somebody to maybe use a different methodology to try and find a wife. Maybe that might work out for me. So it was more of me taking a leap of faith, trying something different, trying to see what is out there as well.
Sure.
And maybe comparatively, based on what I put down on paper, might come out and say, this is exactly what is that we want and how we want it. That was one of the things that I was trying. So, hey, I don't know. Like, in hindsight, I asked myself, was this the right decision? Was this the right way to go? And parts of me is yes and parts of me is no. But I think we're here now. I think the most important thing is that we gave it a try. And, after trying, I think for me, the best thing would be just stick to the traditional methods.
What methodologies were you using that you felt weren't working to help you find a wife? Because they always say it's easy for a man to find a wife. You can pick anyone and give them a ring.
Yeah.
Why did you think it was so hard for you to find a wife in the traditional methods of ukshela and going out on dates and courting a woman? Why was it harder for you?
I don't want to say that it was hard. I think sometimes, what happens when you meet a woman for the first time,
Sure.
especially through the kind of information that we have nowadays. We've got different applications and dating sites, etc. The first thing I would always say, depending on the conversation that we're having and after meeting one another, I would fully express to say, I would like this to end up in a marriage. I have, maybe in a jokingly way, approached some women in the past and said, when I think you would make a great wife for me.
Yes.
And it would be, you're just playing.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe you. No, I don't trust you. But now in hindsight, since being on the show, I've been getting a lot of DMs about it. I've been getting a lot of messages to say, I wasn't aware that you were that serious.
Yeah,
or you should show me that you're a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
And that for me is maybe one of the methods that I had used quite a lot, because I'm not a person that I can't walk up to a girl on the street.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it difficult for me to I want to actually have a conversation with you.
Yes,
first. I want to talk
get to know you.
Yeah, I want to talk to you first, and then we can meet up, and then, we can then take things from there. That's what I had traditionally used in the past.
Sure.
I was always open to the fact that if I find somebody and we click and we get along and the feeling is I actually want to settle down, then let's go ahead and do that.
Sure.
So I think going to the show, it was one of those things to say, how about we start with the end and then work our way back to the beginning?
I get you.
Yeah.
Relinquishing control is something you say that's what the show does, because you cast it into the hands of experts. Who understand psychology, sociology, romantic relationships, and they're supposed to match you with the person they deem is suitable for all the characteristics that you are or have put down on paper, as you said.
Yeah.
Going into the show, day one, you are a cast member on Married at First Sight. You go through the whole process, you sign contracts. Now it's day one, which is your wedding day.
Yeah.
And that wedding day only happens after you've gone through all the psychometric analysis with the experts.
Correct.
You guys have gone through a rigorous process to find yourself and see how you can present in a romantic manner if they match you with somebody else.
Correct.
So the things we see as day one of the wedding is day million for you guys, because so much has happened to identify who you are and how you can be compatible with another person.
Yeah.
Your honest feeling when you see Palesa for the first time as you turn around and see your wife?
When I first saw her, I thought to myself, oh, she looks, pretty. She looks okay, I was anticipating to hear exactly how she speaks, her tone, what kind of person she was. And, to me, at the first instance at the altar, humility was presented to me. But I think the worry came after at, sort of the reception. So there was a moment at our reception, which was obviously which was not shown on TV, where I stood up and I spoke to everyone that was there. I thanked her, her family and her friends that were there. I acknowledged my family and my friends as well. And, I said a few words to her. And she stood up and acknowledged her family, my family, and then just kind of, sat down, So that for me was just like, okay, this is quite interesting, but, we keep moving, because in that moment you're recording.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is there, all eyes on you guys. You're quite nervous because obviously it's the first time you're doing something like this.
And it's the first time you meet?
It's the first time you meet.
Yeah.
You don't even know where the conversation structure is gonna it's gonna go. So I think that first day, it had been a very, very long day.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say long day, I literally mean like long day.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a whirlwind of emotions. Still trying to figure out, how we're going to navigate this thing, where we're going to go, what is it that we're going to learn from each other, But I think at first glance for me, my reception was, okay, interesting. Can this be a match? Can this be a pair? And I thought to myself, maybe the experts had taken what I had said and wanted, and this was it. This was the person that they felt that would be best. And I was willing to go through it. I think I kept an open mind, and I just told myself, let's go and let's see what happens from there.
What we saw on camera was you being on that first day, you being very positive. That positivity and that synergy that you and Balisa showed with each other, was it the reality when the cameras were off on day one? Because the cameras did go off on day one. The crew packs up, wedding over, it's time to go home. Families are going, we've all had fun. What is the energy in the apartment, in your room on that day one once it's all over?
It was quite... I would say that what I didn't want to create was a space of awkwardness. So for me, it was to talk about things, is to share things, is to have very realistic conversations. I mean, we didn't sleep in the same room, in the same bed the first night. And for me, it was, we're both still nervous. She was still a little bit nervous as well. But we had a very good conversation. We spoke about each other's, journey getting here. And I think for me, that energy of the honeymoon phase, I honestly wish that it had carried us completely, especially when it was just the two of us.
Yes.
Outside of the cameras, outside of any other couples, outside of anything, any kind of influence or anything like that, we had very good conversations. We would speak about something. If one of us didn't like something, we would both air it, talk about it, and we didn't have a level of dismissiveness in terms of each other's feelings.
Sure.
That came at a much later stage.
Yeah.
But that first night, what you saw on camera in terms of our wedding, we carried that even after the cameras had left and everybody had left. And it was a good thing. We were very cordial towards each other. We were showing a lot of affection towards each other. We were able to hold hands whenever we walked, whether we went for breakfast, etc. And it was quite a very good energy. I was positive. I was feeling good about it, I was even telling the guys to say, my experience is actually quite good.
Yes.
And I was happy at the time,
Did you feel attracted to her at that honeymoon period time that you're saying? Because you were holding hands, being lovey-dovey, for the lack of a better word. Did you feel like, oh my gosh, this experience is the right thing to do?
At the moment, I felt, yes, the experience was the right thing to do. I didn't have regrets in that moment. I just felt like, this is, we're still going into it. It's still very early days. Attraction for me is something that you build up together.
Okay.
Based on conversations, based on what is it that you like from each other, what is it that you don't like, what is it that you both need from each other. I don't think for me, I've learned at a very early stage that attraction isn't something that I look at physical from day one. Say, physically, you look attractive and therefore this is me wanting you. I think for me, attractive is how you carry yourself.
Okay.
It's the character, the personality that would make me attracted to you. So that for me was something that I was very open-minded to, and I wanted to see it building up slowly, to get to a point where I can say, I'm fully attracted to this person. And at some point it did come. At some point it was there.
How far in?
I would say most probably up until when we moved into the apartments, when we met the other couples, the attractiveness started to build there. The attraction was slowly gaining momentum, even though we had one or two speed bumps before we got there. But I was still open-minded to say, we're still going to get there. Don't rush yourself. Don't anticipate something that's not really there. But give yourself this moment, give yourself this chance. You still need to know personality and character, because that for me supersedes everything.
What are one or two speed bumps?
There was an incident where, obviously you're working with an entire production. You're working with different people on the production. We had, wardrobe and stylist people and makeup people, etc. And in one instance, this was like particularly during the honeymoon phase where I was getting calls from the wardrobe people to say, there's a particular scene that you need to shoot and we need to go for a particular style, and I would be contacted in terms of how you're going to dress, what are you going to dress, and all those kind of things. And what happened was, she had told me to say she doesn't want me communicating with the wardrobe people because they were females.
Okay. She didn't want you to communicate with the wardrobe from production.
Yes.
Because they are females.
Yes.
Okay.
And she found it, her explanation was, I find it easier for them to contact me and then I will contact you.
Okay.
Okay. And I found that to be a little bit strange.
Okay.
Because obviously when these people are out looking for styles or looks or whatever, they're going to come directly to you to say, what is your shoe size? What kind of style do you like? Do you prefer this? You don't prefer that? And I felt like the chain of conversation and command was going to be long because they have to get in touch with you. You get in touch with me. I come back to you. You get back.
I hear you.
And for me, it became a little bit concerning to say, but they're here to work.
Yeah.
You and I, we're here for a completely different reason. They are here to work.
Sure.
They are here to assist us to go through this journey together. And somehow, when the wardrobe people found that out, it made them a little bit uncomfortable to say, okay, so how are we supposed to work, And then when it continued further than that, it was then a makeup person that was then involved. And I couldn't understand the link between the makeup person and myself,
During shooting honeymoon phase, your wife at the time on the show didn't want you to interact with crew members that were female, basically.
Yes.
She was starting to feel uncomfortable, insecure, perhaps is the better word?
I don't want to tread on the word insecure, but I'd rather use the word uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Do you think you gave her a reason that if you are around females, she doesn't trust you?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
Because remember, when you're shooting a production, you're shooting with a whole
crew. There's
a lot of people.
Many, tens of people, 20, 30 at a time.
So sometimes when you're not shooting, when you're waiting to shoot,
you're chilling with them and having a chat.
You're having a conversation with the director, the producers, or whoever.
Yeah.
You're laughing about. Sometimes you stand around in the circle, or it would just be the two of you, or they would keep you guys, in the crew bus while they're busy setting up. So, and sometimes you'll be standing there with production assistants, etc. Maybe my friendliness in terms of sharing jokes, laughing around and conversating with people made her feel like I don't like this.
Okay.
And she once expressed it, on text to me. Actually, I had come back to her and said, when I get really nervous, what I tend to do is I want to drum out the noise. So I didn't have my headphones with me at that time. So normally I put on headphones and listen to music because I want to lock myself out of this whole environment or setup, etc.
Sure.
So I would hum, I'd sing to myself, I'd share jokes because I'm trying to reduce the amount of nerves. Because, when you're shooting something like that, it is quite nerve-wracking. It takes you a long time to get used to the cameras and people.
Correct.
About 3 weeks or so.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. I would just sing to myself, and she would say to me, I don't like you. I don't like what you're doing because it makes it feel like you're entertaining people.
Okay.
Like you are this little entertainer around people. And I expressed it to her in text to say, I don't understand what you mean by that. In me singing and entertaining people. And, her response was, I just don't want you to become the center of attention.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe it was one of the things that I was doing during that time that she didn't like. Because sometimes you know how people are. You might share a joke with a person and somebody might laugh the loudest. And now it seems like you are trying to deliberately make that person laugh. Which is not the case.
Got you.
So it was just a few of those incidences that happened. And I never got, a real understanding as to why can I not compensate with other females. You're okay me talking to the gents.
Yeah.
But these ladies, they're here to work. It can't be when you're sitting and the makeup artist comes to touch up your makeup, then
it's an issue.
It's an issue.
Yeah.
And it was quite an issue.
So you get to now moving into the apartment. So now you're done with honeymooning in the hotel.
Yeah.
Now you need to move into an apartment to simulate a life together, right?
Yeah.
How's that first day?
The first day was okay. The first day was nice. I mean, we were trying to settle into the apartment. We were talking about getting into a particular routine. How are we going to do things? Who's going to be responsible for what, etc. And I think this is where the bank card issue comes in. Because my thing was, the household is predominantly the wife's playground, and I don't want to overstep. If you need me to step in, I'll step in.
Sure.
Hence why the thing was, here's the bank card. Whatever we need for the household, please acquire it.
Sure.
I even gave a list of things that I required. And I said, when you're available because you're using the car, please pop into the shops and can you get me X, Y, and Z? And when I noticed that those things were not happening, for me, it was a matter of how come is it that you have access to the vehicle and the bank card, but I'm still asking for things, So moving into the apartments, we sat down, we spoke about it to say, how are we going to run
the household? Yeah. So you had agreed that her role, one of her roles, and I want this to be clear, that it wasn't a dictatorship. You agreed that one of her roles is to run the household at the largest part of it.
Correct.
And you would finance the running of the household, including giving her a car.
Yes. So because, what happened was when we moved into the apartments, production has set us up to a certain level, but they wanted us to experience the marital part of it.
Sure.
Sharing of finances, being able to come up with a budget together, being able to share what your incomes are. Those are exercises me and her we did.
Sure.
And we did them predominantly during the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
And it was agreed between the two of us to say, when we move in, we'll see what is it that we require from the household. And mine was then to say, here's the bank card, here's the vehicle, whatever you require into the household, please acquire that.
Yes. So what's the issue there?
I think the issue was that, I was asking for very, what I believed were small things, but the small things were just not coming.
What is small?
I'll give you an example. I would go and buy groceries myself after asking for days to say, we don't have this, we don't have toiletries in the house, we don't have X, Y, and Z. And I would be the one to go to the shop and buy them ultimately. But the responsibility we had agreed upon was yours.
Yes.
I'm having to do it because I'm waiting and waiting. And meanwhile, in me waiting, the priorities for you is to get your nails done, to buy clothing, to do this and that. And
with that card?
With the same card.
Okay.
And for me, it was the question to say, no, but I'm trying to understand exactly where we are in this instance, to a point where when month end came, because we had agreed to say we'd have the discussion about our finances and where our finances are located, etc. So at the end of the month, I was very open and honest to say, look, I've received my salary. This is where the money has been allocated to. My stuff is sorted. And then from then on, from her, it was just silence and silence and silence. And I kept asking,
Silence
in terms of not
disclosing. Okay. Her finances to you. Okay.
And at some point, I remember texting her and saying, you haven't said anything. I don't know what's going on. And you're not being open and honest. And we spoke about this. And the response was, it was very vague. It wasn't a direct response. It wasn't really to say, well, this is what has happened so far. And, this is where I'm at the present moment. I wasn't getting that type of response. So I started to feel like whatever it is that we had spoken about and agreed upon has now just changed.
Were you feeling used?
I don't want to say I was feeling used. I think at that time, for me, I was just trying to find out and understand what is going on.
Okay.
Because I was asking the questions.
Yeah.
And it was the answers that I was receiving that kind of made me start feeling like, okay, are you wanting to be open with me or not? And if not, then tell me to say I'm not comfortable.
Okay.
In wanting to be open.
Sure.
You know what I mean? If you as Tshepo want to do that, you do that, but now I'm not going to do that, And I think for me, it's an issue that we spoke about. We spoke, I would say, extensively about it, but there was still not changes. There wasn't really that much changes.
There's no transparency. Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of transparency.
Yeah. Time goes on, and would you say these issues started piling up? The finance issue, the lack of transparency, feeling like I think you are alluding to feeling like you were giving more than what you were getting out.
Yeah. That's true. And the thing is, during that time, because obviously we were shooting, I couldn't really talk to anybody except for, I wasn't really talking to the gents about it, because even with them, I was still trying to get to know them.
So you're not completely comfortable with telling them the
not
inner
completely
workings of your life. Yeah.
So the person I was really expressing myself to was my friend and my colleague, because he came to the wedding.
Sure.
And I had known him longer, and him being sort of my age and being, in a 3-year marriage, and he's got a child, he's got another one on the way. I felt much more comfortable in confiding.
Which is fair.
Yeah. And he was privy to a lot of the conversations in terms of telephone conversations that I would have with Ballis at that time. And sometimes he would ask me to say, like, what is the problem? What is the issue? And I would tell him to say, I don't know myself. I have created this type of environment, but there seems to not be her coming to the table, and I don't know what to do. I mean, I even, coming to the story about the ingredients, for example, which was a very big talking point. She had wanted to cook a dish for dinner. She tried to order the stuff from an app. It wasn't going through. Her response was, let me go to the mall at the bank and go and sort out my bank card.
Yeah.
Which she did. I called and I said, oh, by the way, seeing as you're already at the mall, why don't you buy the stuff? Because the conversation before she went to the mall was, please, can you bring the stuff when you come back from work? And I said, sure, no problem. So when the decision was she was going to go to the mall, I said,
you're there anyway?
Yeah, you're there anyway. Why don't you just pop into the shop and just get the stuff?
Sure.
And the response was, no, I want you to do it. You should do it. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here with my colleague and we're listening into this conversation. I remember the conversation was literally 4 minutes. And it was a matter of like, I want you to do it. No, you do it. And when it got to a point where I was just like, I want to cut this conversation short, was when she said to me, I also want to receive a bank notification from my husband. And I said, okay, no, cool, it's fine. Because you went into a shop, you had claimed that you were going to buy things for that you did not bring when you came to the show. But actually, you had gone to buy things differently. And while you were in the same shop, the stuff that you required is in the same shop. You could have grabbed it. You passed it by the shelves. You can't go into different shelves and grab other things and purposefully leave these things because you want and you're anticipating for your husband to come and do them. I couldn't understand that, and after the telephone conversation, I was just like, okay, like I'm not understanding.
What did she mean about this bank notification? I'm trying to
Like, she wanted me to send her money.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she's not going to buy the things because you haven't sent her money?
No, she's not going to buy the things with her money.
I get you.
She wants me to send her money to use my money to
buy the things.
And the same stuff that you wanted to cook for me for dinner. And even before the conversation of making, that particular dish, I said, no, but yesterday we had takeouts and some of it is still left. So why don't we have that for dinner tonight?
Again, yeah.
And it was a matter of like, no, I want to cook this thing.
Sure.
So when that was not happening, then it became a thing of, no, but I want your money. I will go and buy stuff that I want, that is for me with my money. But the stuff that concerns us, I want to use your money.
Sure.
So you must send me the money. So when that conversation ended, I was just like, this is kind of strange though. Initially your plan was you wanted to buy. You went to the mall to sort out your bank card. Your plan should be able to continue after that.
How do you address that when that call ended? Because obviously you have to go back home to her.
Yeah. I think in hindsight, my response to it was not the best, I'll admit, because that's when I decided to stay in the office and have Friday drinks and not go home at a much later hour. And in hindsight, yes, I could have done things a little bit more differently. I shouldn't have reacted in that manner by not going home at the hour that I was supposed to be at home. And I think post the telephone conversation during the day, it put me off.
Okay.
Because I think that and other incidences that had happened, for me, the question was, is this really somebody that I want to be with? because at every single hurdle, we're just struggling to climb this small little hill. Small little hill. We're just not getting there. And most of these things are happening in the back end. Like I'm saying, this whole thing didn't happen on camera.
Off camera.
It happened off camera.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just like, okay, why are we just not getting there? I mean, I'll give you an example. And this was a theme that continued throughout the recording, even post the recording, even at the reunion, etc. Was this continuous thing to just body shame me.
Yeah.
This continuous thing to body shame me.
But she could argue that it was a retaliation because you apparently told the gent that she's ugly when she's waking up.
And I'm still waiting for that, for any one of the gents to say when and where. Because even in asking the gents, even in production asking the gents, there's never been one single person that's come up and said, Tshepo said it was this date, this time, this is what was happening.
Where's she getting it from?
I don't know. And I've asked the question.
Did you ask her off camera?
I've asked her on camera and I've asked her off camera.
Yeah.
To say, where did I say that you're ugly?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not getting an answer.
What type of answer does she get? Did
There's
she keep
no
quiet?
answer.
Does
There's
she
no
deflect?
answer. There's no answer. It's the fact that you said it. But I keep asking where?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Maybe you said it while you were angry, Tshepo.
When?
In an argument, because you guys had a few of them.
With who?
With her.
No, if I said it to her, she shouldn't have said, she should have never had a conversation with other people by saying, did you hear that Tshepo said that I'm ugly?
Sure.
Because those were the words.
Yeah.
She should have confidently come out to say,
he said I'm ugly.
Tshepo said that I'm ugly.
Yeah.
You were having an argument when you said I'm ugly. And I still say, till today, I'm still waiting for that. Where?
Did the body shaming start on camera or did she ever do it to you in person?
The body shaming started off camera. It was a conversation that happened when we were going to move into the apartments.
Okay.
Well, I think a day after we moved into the apartments, where, we moved in on a Saturday. Then the Sunday it was, let's have some green tea. And it was a conversation. It started off with that green tea conversation. Have green tea every single day. We need to start eating clean. We need to start eating much more healthy, etc. And I was just like, no, but no, I'm fine.
It's never been my routine.
It's never been my routine. And, and it was, no, we need to start eating a little bit more clean and healthier, and I'm going to start skipping outside in the mornings and stuff like that. And I was just like, but this is not my thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But then surprising enough, if I was to buy any kind of junk food, somehow, they would be eaten by her.
Mm-hmm.
So I would question her to say, no, but I don't understand. You want us to live a healthy lifestyle, to eat clean, to eat healthy. But when you see an energy drink in the fridge, you finish it. When you see chocolate in the fridge, you finish it. When you see something of a junk food somewhere, somehow, it's always getting finished by you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became a thing of, oh, no, you're complaining about food. And I was like, no, but I'm not complaining. This was your stance. Even one of the experts, we made a joke about it. Where we had a session with the Enders, that was not shown on TV. We had a whole session with the Enders and, and I mentioned it in a laughing manner to say, oh, no, she wants us to have, green tea and,
and broccoli.
Yeah. And I even mentioned, I said, I just want kafftini to go to work.
Yeah.
And the question came about to say, are you not happy with his weight? And she was like, no, I'm happy with Tshepo's weight, but I just want us to eat clean and healthy. And then fast forward later on, I found out that, not only was she body shaming me on camera, but it was also off camera. And it was confirmed in a recording because there's a recording where she was having an argument with Makot and Makot was like, you keep body shaming your man. You keep saying that this is how he is, when they were having a fight amongst themselves. And it was then when I realized, oh, actually, this thing has been going on further than what I thought.
Yeah.
So when I first saw it on TV, I was just like, oh, okay, so that's where, essentially that come about, And it was made to seem as if because I had allegedly said that she was ugly, therefore the
it's a
body
response.
shaming is okay.
It's warranted.
Yeah, it's warranted.
Yeah.
And that even continued at the reunion, There was an incident at the reunion where I was just sitting, it was long into the night, and, I was asked a question by the presenter to say, are you okay? Are you tired? And I just said, no, I'm tired. and the question was, are you tired? Are you tired, or are you just tired of this? And the particular scene that we were shooting at that time. And I just said, I'm tired. And the response from her was, no, he's hungry. You should give him some food. I know his patterns. He's probably hungry. And the look, because where I was sitting, the look I was receiving from other cast members
Shock.
was just like, okay, so this is still going on.
Yeah. Do you think deep down when she saw you for the first time, she just couldn't stand how you looked? And it was slowly revealing itself because time is a revealer.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too, because, at the games night, one of the questions that was asked that was not shown is, do I think that I suffer from gluttony? And none of us at the table knew what the word gluttony
means. Yeah.
So we had to Google what the word was in order for us to get an understanding.
Sure.
And when I heard it, I had no response to it. Fast forward after the recommitment ceremony, we've had the recommitment. I'm sitting at home. It's in the evening. We shot this whole thing. It's finished. Then I start getting messages from her where she was like, you're this obese, gluttony type of person. Just like...
This is after it has all ended, Tshepo. You are getting messages.
The recommitment is done.
You're like, I'm done with this thing. Done. It's over. My life can continue.
It's finished. Oof. I'm at home. I get the messages. So what happened was, on her end, when she saw the blue ticks, she would then delete it. But the entire time I was just sitting there screenshotting the messages. And then when I got the last one, I then decided, I'm going to block this person.
Yeah.
That's when I block them.
Sure.
And I think the thing is, what I've noticed quite a lot is that there is the theme from her end that Tshepo was this narcissistic, manipulative.
Apparently you were a different person off camera than on camera. Yes. That was said quite a few times about your character.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if you look at the text messages, which I still have, they paint a completely different picture. Because even in the text messages, I'm the one who's saying, last night you had a bit too much to drink, you passed out on the couch, and then I had to literally drag you back into bed. And her response in the morning was, I didn't remember anything. Oh my God, was I rude to you? Was I, what happened? Oh no, I'm sorry, I'll stop, So when this whole thing started, and it was like, Tshepo was this type of person, I was like, what's going on? Because to me, it was like, messages are there. We were having these conversations.
Sure.
We're having these conversations. Because I was refusing to have these conversations on camera. And I would address things to say, I did not like what you did.
Sure.
And she would respond and say, okay, I'll stop it. I apologize, etc., etc., etc. And we would then finish it off there. But come shooting time, changes.
Why are you having all these chats on text and not in real life? Because you guys practically live together.
No, but because that's the thing. The thing was, it was very clear to say, we need to not air out our dirty laundry.
Okay.
So when we are there on camera, we need to appear as people that we've got our shit
put
sorted.
Together.
We are put together.
Yeah.
There was a time I spoke about creating a script.
Yes.
And it's there. To say, I'm going to go see this expert about this issue that we're having. I'm going to say this. And when you speak to the expert as well, you need to say this.
Sure.
So that we are in line with one another.
We're actually not telling the truth about how we're feeling and what's actually going on in our marriage.
Correct. So we're not reliving our own experiences.
Yes.
And sometimes, I'd get text messages from her in terms of, when you get home, we're going to be shooting, when you arrive, please give me a kiss, give me a hug, and you see me on messages. The thing is about me, you can tell my tone.
Yeah.
You can tell by my tone because I'm just like, okay.
Why did you play along? Because you are not immersed in the experience. And this is not a joke. It's a wife that you're here to find. Why, Tshepo, do you allow yourself to play along when you can see that it's not working? When you're being coached by your wife about how you should act And I won't say you're a victim because you were complicit, you know. She was coaching you and you were contributing to the coaching.
Yeah. I think for me it was a matter of, and I was complicit to a certain extent, because there is a time when I sat with one of the experts and I said, this is what's happening. And this was on camera. I said, these are the issues that I'm experiencing. These are the problems that I'm having. And I don't know what to do. Because it seems like on camera, I'm protecting this person. But you see me on camera. I'm very withdrawn. I don't really say much. I'm just, you can tell by my body language that, man, this person is actually checked out of this whole thing. And a lot of people kept wondering why. But I would have these conversations because there's one particular expert who had actually clocked, or you know what, there's something amiss with Tshepo. And they asked me to say, you know, do you really feel like this is your person? My response was no. And they're like, yeah, I can tell. Because you're being very withdrawn.
Yeah.
You're not saying much. I mean, even if you look at me in my diary sessions, I speak to the issues that we have. And my responses are real. They're direct. I'm expressing myself. But her responses are very, you know, they're very well thought out.
Yes,
very well
yes,
done,
yes,
They're
yes.
very well spoken.
Yeah.
Only for me to find out at a later stage that amongst the production crew, when I would be doing my diary sessions, when I'm done, during the time when things are being changed around for her to do her diary sessions, they will go and tell her to say, oh, this is what he was saying in his diary sessions. So when she came in, her responses were perfectly aligned and perfectly responded to whatever it is that was going on at that time.
Yes.
And so the people a lot would say, you know, this guy is, you know, a manipulative person. And I asked myself, how am I manipulating anything? I've just decided, and I said it off camera and on camera, where I had literally said to her, you know, I don't think that I still want to be here.
You did say that, yeah.
And there was a time when we were having these conversations, even on text, where she was like, I can tell that you've checked out. I can see that you've checked out. And I keep saying, it's because of your behavior. It is because of your behavior. And somehow that has created this environment or this thing where Tshepo is narcissistic, is manipulative, he keeps gaslighting her when I'm not even saying anything.
Something else was alleged about your behavior and your character, that the reason you have checked out goes beyond the behavior you say she demonstrated. And she spoke about this when she was speaking to the other ladies who were the cast members. She insinuated infidelity on your side.
Yeah.
Did the breaking down of your marriage lead you to go outside of the marriage?
There was no infidelity, because the time when she raised the issue of infidelity was that scene where it starts and they say that, you know, Balesa contact production to say that she suspects her husband is cheating.
Yes.
And then in walks in the expert. And what originally happened in that scene is that we were sitting, we were going to have a session with the expert. And when they walked in, they could tell, oh, there's a little bit of tension. So she was asked, are you okay? And she said, no, I'm okay, we're okay, etc. And I then explained, and I said, no, I've been blocked. I was blocked by her the whole day.
Blocked, Njani? What do you mean
like
block?
blocked on the phone, like block, you know.
Block, calls, WhatsApp.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to speak to you for the rest of the day kind of thing, you know. And it has stemmed from the phone call that I received in the vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah, now, if I take you to my car right now, first of all, would it make sense that if I'm going to have any kind of infidelity, would I save a person's name and surname and have their picture on my phone? Would I be that careless? My phone is connected to the car.
So it pops up on the screen.
It pops up on the screen.
Yeah.
I answered the call in the car.
On loudspeaker with the Bluetooth vehicle connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
And after saying hello for some time, I then grabbed the phone and I put it to my ear. And I kept saying hello. Now it's so quiet in the car. If that person was going to speak, you were going to hear them. And I kept saying hello. And I ended up saying, listen, I can't hear you. So if you can, please can you call me back? And I put down the phone. And then the question came up to say, who's that? And I explained, no, there's no such thing. I said, yo, look at the hour. These are working hours. These are working hours.
Sure.
You know? So by the time I dropped off at work, it had become a thing. So then that's when she called the office to then say, I want to know about this person.
She called your working place
Yes.
and asked about the person who was calling you.
Correct.
Because you had said it's a colleague.
Yes.
Sure.
So then she responded to me and said, there's no such a person who called the office, who works there. And I said, did you call my workplace? And she wasn't responding. And so when we got to sitting down with the experts, I kept saying, she called my workplace. And she denied it. She's like, I don't call your workplace. And I was like, there's literally a call record from your work number that you call the office. It's there. And it was the denial on camera. And throughout the entire scene, what happened was that she had alleged that she had found the contact details of this person, and the number was called, and in calling the number, it was picked up by some old lady. And this old is like, no, but this person is not here, they're at work. And I asked a simple question to show you that what you are saying is incorrect. I'm telling you, this person is a colleague. Therefore, this person cannot be in the office at this hour. This was all in record, like recording. At the end of this whole dialogue backwards and forth, the expert then said to them to say, if Tshepo is really cheating, bring me the proof. Bring me the proof.
Yeah.
I'm going to see you in a couple of days for a one-on-one. Bring me the proof.
Yeah.
And that is where the conversation then was mute. So now on TV, you see it flash forward to then say, we took out a couple of days to kind of sit down and we spoke about that. No, it wasn't. We didn't take out any couple of days because we slept in separate rooms that night. Mm-hmm. The following morning, she came into the main bedroom where I was sleeping because she had slept in the other room. She sat on the bed and she basically said, I'm sorry about what happened yesterday, and I probed and I asked her, I said, what is your story about not saying what you called the office when you know that you did?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, because I was angry,
mm-hmm.
And then the conversation continued in text later on while I was at work, where she was like, why are you being like this? And I was like, last night you were sitting there, you were gaslighting me, you were accusing me of things, and then you expect me to wake up in the morning and say, no, everything is okay. It can't be. It can't be.
Yeah.
And this was when she said, okay, I'm going to go and sit down. It was an apology first. Then it was, when I meet the expert, this is what I'm going to say, But first she called and explained to say, fine, I'm sorry, I apologize, but we need to, put this thing together very quickly.
Because we have a script that we are following.
Yes.
We don't tell the experts the truth. You know that's our vibe.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So then you see the message when it comes back, it says, just to recap. Following the telephone conversation. Just to recap.
These are the bullet points.
This is it.
Sure.
So when I sit down with this person, this is what I'm saying. And we must stick to this. I'm going to say that everything's fine, we're okay, we spoke about it, we even made love, and we're back to, you know what I mean? Because now we need to wrangle this thing in, And my response was, okay, I don't know what to say. What am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say?
You were allegedly putting pressure to have children.
Hey, Lungelo, this thing of me wanting to have a child has been long there. Because I even said, even on camera, on and off camera, even on camera I said, nice Tshepo, when I walked into this experiment, I was ready to have a child.
A wife and a child.
Yes. Now I've been ready for that. There's nothing unique and special about it being presented to you.
Sure.
Anybody who I've dated will tell you that. Mm-hmm. Well, this man has wanted to have another child for a very long time.
Sure.
I've even with some of my exes, I've said, I want to have a child.
Yeah.
Let us have a child.
Yeah.
It's there. Mm-hmm. It's not new. So there was no pressure. I had clearly expressed to say, no, I'm ready to have a child. I want to have a child.
Yeah.
So this idea that there was some kind of pressure for me to, for her to give me a child, it's not there.
And it seems like it was undue pressure. Like you were making sure that when you are making love that you want to make a child, even if she wants it or not.
Chief. how can it be when even after the following day, you would say to me, should I take the morning after? And I would say, whatever it is that you're happy with.
Okay.
There was no pressure for me whatsoever because we spoke about it. Because remember, before you go onto the show, you do a full body exam. They take your bloods, they check you for every single thing. So we all knew we had all gone a medical.
Sure. So we're all medically fit.
We're all medically fit.
Yeah.
We all understand where we are. We shared our statuses with one another.
Sure.
So the question about wanting to have children or not, it was a thing of, I said, na as Tshepo, I'm ready to have another child. I want to have another child. And this theme is not a now thing. It's been there for years. So it can't be now when it comes to you, now there's some kind of pressure. Pressure from what? For what? To prove what? We're in an experiment. We're trying to see whether this thing is going to work or not.
If we can build a family.
Yes.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I've raised my son. I've been there. You know, if I want to have a child, I'd have a child. And I even said to say, there are many options for us as men these days to also have children. We also can do surrogacy. But to have this idea, this notion that there was a lot of pressure on you to have a child with me, no. I expressed to say, yes, I would love to have a child. Who else am I supposed to say it to? An outside person? Somebody from the crew? No, because I'm married to you in this experiment. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm going to have that discussion with you.
Yeah.
Can't talk to anybody else about it. For what?
When did you admit that it has completely broken down and it's non-repairable?
Yo. I'm just trying to think back. Yo, that friend's dinner.
Okay.
Yeah. That's when I think that night I was just like, nah.
It's not worth the try anymore.
We're done.
Yeah.
We had been done, but I still wanted to try. Even going to the retreat. I remember having the conversation with the boys because the conversation at the paddle wasn't the start. It was an off-camera conversation.
Sure.
Because Themba was like, I really feel like you need to go and talk to her.
Yeah.
And I agreed. I said, yeah, we need to have a conversation because where we are now, we're in a very dark place.
Yeah.
And we're constantly throwing things at each other.
Sure.
Because now there was this abuse allegation now sitting on my head. And I felt like we're now going to disintegrate each other.
Correct.
We are burning each other.
Yeah. And you're burning each other with the public watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we are still parents at the end of the day. We are still sons and daughters. This is not the right way to go about things. So hence why I initiated the apology. But what upset me the most was that the whole thing was cut, where I expressed my apology in sequence. I'm sorry for saying this. I'm sorry for doing this. And I'm sorry for everything. Even the things that you think I have said, I apologize for.
Yeah.
I didn't get an apology from her. Because there's a time in that apology I asked, I said, did you call me fat? And she said, no. And I asked her, I said, do you think I'm abusing you? She said, I don't want to talk about it. But obviously those parts were cut out. It was only, compacted into, we need to show just this part, So when I saw it playing back on TV, I was just like, but this is not the narrative. This is not the narrative. And I asked her to say, can we please isolate ourselves? We had an off-camera conversation, and I brought it on camera again to say, let us just isolate ourselves and go back to the time when we were in the honeymoon.
Yeah.
And we were okay.
Yeah.
We were fine for just those couple of days. Oh, man. Then we had that friend's dinner. Then that particular makeup lady and the particular wardrobe lady were there.
The one from back then.
From back there.
Who were an issue.
Yes.
We have a phone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what had happened was I had sent a message to one of the producers sometime during the shooting, and I clearly said to them, please can you make sure wherever we shoot, these people are not there.
Okay.
Because they seem to be a contentious issue.
In our marriage.
With these two people.
Yes.
So when they were there at the friend's dinner, my problem was I went to go and change to prepare to go and shoot because I had come from work. And they were sitting around, and I went and I greeted everyone. including them. Because I thought, we're okay. We are fine.
We've moved on.
We've moved on.
Yeah.
We've spoken about these
Yeah.
things. Lungelo, we shot. We got into the car. Before we even got into the car, this producer said to me, this person doesn't look okay. And I was like, hey, Chief, maybe it's whatever happened while we were shooting. Now, in that scene, if you go back to it and you look at it properly, where I'm sitting behind me, there's a lady who's sitting there. That lady is one of the makeup people.
Mm-hmm.
So during that scene, it was a very long scene. I was saying things. And in saying things, some of them seemed funny. But the problem was, she was laughing. But she wasn't laughing at what I was saying. She was laughing because she was on her phone. It was a conversation that she was having with the producers while she was on her phone. So the impression, Nauri, you are making her laugh. She's laughing. You are trying to impress her. Started then. So if you look at that scene, actually, which was a good thing that they blurred out her face, but she's sitting, she's one of the makeup artists, which I had said, please, let's not have this person here.
Yeah.
So when we got into the car and we were leaving, then the insult started. So what actually happened is, on TV you see me saying, don't touch me, you know. Coming back, when we left the scene, in the car, she started insulting. And I noticed one of the production cars was driving behind me. So I pulled to the side, they were passing me, and I flagged them down. And then I drove up behind them, I got out, I went to the car. And I said, guys, there's a situation brewing in the car. And at the intensity of it, it's not going to be nice.
Mm-hmm. It's unsafe.
It is unsafe for both of us.
Correct.
Can you guys assist me in getting this person out? Because if I put my hands on her, what happens?
Yeah, we know.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I went and I asked for assistance.
Yeah.
First. Cool. I was told, we called one of the content producers. They said they were at a different place. I was then told to follow the production car to getting to that particular place so that this issue can be resolved. Got back into the car. I was asked, oh, what's going on? I said, no. I wanted to find out whether we're going to go shoot again when we get home because I'm tired. I just want to sleep. Because I'm trying to diffuse
the situation.
Sure. I can hear, so we continue driving. We get onto the highway. We're now not going to the same location as those people. We're now heading to the apartments. We take an off-ramp. And after we take an off-ramp, she got a call from one of the producers. The producer said, hey, what's going on in the car? Because, Tshepo came and he said that he wants us to basically remove you from his vehicle. And her response on the phone was, oh, there's a fucking monster. And then she put down the phone. And I don't know between putting down the phone, because you know what's funny? A lot of people think that video, I actually recorded it. I didn't record that video. The video that you see on TV where I'm saying, don't touch me, I didn't record it.
Mm-hmm.
It was not recorded by me. It was recorded by her.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she recorded it, while she was busy touching and grabbing my collar and pushing and looking for the microphone, and the reason why she was looking for the microphone was that she was concerned about the things that she was saying. So it was this entire time in this ride, there's things that I had been saying. And if this guy is wearing a microphone, then it means that those people have been listening.
Yes.
Because this car has been following us.
Yes.
In her recording in the vehicle to see whether I'm wearing a microphone. That's why I said, don't touch me. Because she was touching and grabbing and pushing. Meanwhile, I'm driving, And then it was a thing of, I was like, don't touch me at all, And she was like, oh, there's nothing to touch, etc. And I think the recording was her anticipating me to respond.
I get you.
So it was, if he responds in any kind of way, I have the evidence. So I see a garage, I pull into the garage, stop the car, I get out, I go to production now. I'm like, yo, now she's putting her hands on me, get her out now. When they open the doors to get out, then she gets out of the car. That's when I drove to the apartment. And I got there and I said to the producers, I'm leaving today. Now, packing up my bags, and we're done. And I said to them, even the days following, I said, you know what, guys? you have such a double standard. Coming into this experiment, you kept drilling down gender-based violence and femicide and this, and we will not tolerate any kind of abuse on the show, etc., etc. But the moment I report to you guys to say, now she put her hands on me, we'll take out the cameras and record that moment of you walking into the apartment and packing your bags and leaving. We will record her calling her friends.
In panic.
Yes, because she didn't make that one call to Nkateko. She called 3 different people. And in one of them, she kept saying, yeah, the only thing that will never leave him is his food. You know, the only thing he'll run to is food. That's his comfort. You know, even the mother of his child left him. I don't know where she got that story from. She was going on and on and on. And meanwhile, the producers are just standing there in the kitchen. The cameras are rolling. I'm busy packing my bags and leaving. And I even said to them, guys, had I put my hands on her, where do you think I would have been that night?
It's obvious. Tshepo Miya, my last question. You said after the recommitment ceremony, it ended in you blocking her everywhere.
Correct.
Is there hope for reconciliation?
No.
Do you regret going on this journey?
I don't regret going on the journey. I regret being paired up with that person on the journey. Because I wonder to myself did they really know who she was?
Would you ever do something like this again?
No. Would I advise anyone to do something like this? No.
Ish.
No. I would definitely say, guys, stick to the traditional methods. The pressure in that show is not worth it. You're shooting 6 weeks. 6 weeks. You're literally getting 1 or 2 days off. You're shooting long into the early hours of the morning. So you have to wake up and go to work. Come back again and you have to shoot. The pressure is not worth it.
My brother, I hope you heal.
I have definitely healed.
Okay, and that's good. And I hope, as you say, the traditional methods moving forward work better for you.
Yeah.
And I hope you reflect on the elements you contributed in the breakdown of the relationship. Because in anything, as much as you have given us a side of the story where she seemingly contributed a lot to it, I think you did as well. And it's important for you to reflect on that and be able to take accountability on your side on things that perhaps are a contributing factor to the breakdown of such a relationship.
I definitely have taken the time. It has not been easy. But I would definitely say to a lot of gens, always choose yourself. Put yourself first. And if you're going to be told to go to therapy, use the tools that you get from therapy. Apply them in your life. Create boundaries. As men, we need to start having more and more boundaries. And when people cross those boundaries, we must be expressive of it. We must be willing to say, I don't like this. It doesn't make me feel this way. They can call you princess treatment. They can call you all sorts of names. They can say that you're weak, you're not man enough, etc. But stick to your guns. Protect yourself, set up your boundaries, and don't allow anybody to come in that you're not allowing to come in.
The show is Engineer Your Life, and I'm Lungelo KM. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.